Hi, everyone. In this first session this morning, we're going to be talking about admin sets. Just a moment to share my screen. All right, admin sets can be accessed. First, sign into your administrative dashboard with the link at the top right of the user interface. And while that loads, admin sets are treated by the system similarly to collections, but they actually function very differently from any other sort of collection that's in Hyku, which by default, you have admin sets and either just collections or user collections as types of collections in the system. You can optionally create other ones in settings, collection types. You'll see admin set and collection are both enabled by default, and they don't have a delete option. You can create additional types of collections if you want to for advanced management settings. If you would like to learn more about collections, we have a video specifically on collections in general. In this video, we're going to focus on admin sets, which, as I say, are treated differently by the system. The main use for collections is sort of gathering or grouping works together for an end user or browser to see those works together. Admin sets, and all other sorts of collections are entirely optional. You never have to create a collection. You never have to assign any work to a specific collection. But if you would like to, then you can assign a work to multiple collections simultaneously, and you can assign collections as sub-collections of one another. So they're really sort of an organizational system for grouping works together for your end user and sort of demonstrating relationships between groups of works. By contrast, the admin set, every work has to be deposited through an admin set, which you can see when you try to add a work. In the relationship section, you can optionally choose one or more collections to add it to, but every work is part of an admin set. In this case, the default admin set is the only option, and so that's the one that this user would be able to add a work to. And what the admin set does is define sets of rules around the uploading and then administrative management of that work. So to change what those rules would be, in this case where there is only a single admin set, the default one that comes with the system, if we go to edit this admin set, then first we could change the title if we wanted to. We could add a description if we wanted to. As the default, it doesn't come with a description. And you can see all collections have a little cover image. These all have assigned thumbnails, which is why they're different from the default. And then these three do not have assigned thumbnails, and so they have the assigned default image for the system. So if you wanted to, you could assign a thumbnail to the admin set. Admin sets are private by default and are not intended to be seen by the end user. But also, as we're editing the administrative set, we can define participants around what groups, such as administrators, editors, managers, are able to participate with that admin set, or we can add specific users. So even if in general we don't want people from that group, or that we don't want that entire group to be able to participate with this admin set, we could add specific users as exceptions. Typically, you will want to have more granular participants if you bring multiple admin sets on. A little later on, we'll talk about kind of use cases for why you would want to have more than just the one admin set. You can also assign different groups as managers or depositors specifically into your admin set. You can also affect the release and visibility options that works have when they're assigned to this administrative set. So for example, if you do not want, in this case, we're only looking at the default admin set. And so these effectively, we're setting rules around the workflow for every user for the entire system. So if we don't want to use embargoes or leases, we can turn that off here, or we can allow depositors to choose. We have some sub settings from that, or we can actually force depositors to choose, which in specific use cases, if we set up an additional admin set that was only for embargoed works, and we wanted to give specific groups or specific users access only to that admin set, we could do that by creating an additional admin set and choosing that setting there. And then the same thing with visibility. Works have either a public, an institutional, or a private setting. At the admin set level, you can force users to only set works through this admin set to institutional or private or public, or allow the user to choose among those. And then finally, and this kind of comes back to what you'll be doing as an administrator for the tenant, you can set works that are added through this admin set either have to be approved by an administrator, and that's called mediated deposit, or can go with a default workflow, in which case no approval is necessary for people who submit through this admin set, and works once they're finally uploaded by the depositor will appear immediately on the system without any intervention needed. We'll be talking in a later video this morning about the approval process for mediated deposit. And so, cancel that. I don't know if I actually made any changes, but I certainly don't want to change any. And so you can think through some different scenarios for how you could use administrative sets. If you only have the one admin set, and so that's the one that all users are depositing through, then you can change rules sort of at the entire tenant level. So if you know that all of the works that are going to be added by the administrator, then you might not want the administrator to have to add a work and then go and approve the work. And so you turn off mediated deposit, and that becomes direct deposit. Additionally, you might know that all works in your workflow scenario are going to be added by, say, student workers or by faculty contributors. And so you'll want mediated deposit on for the entire system. Or you can take a more flexible approach and have multiple admin sets, because you can add a new collection, new admin set anytime you want. And as with other collections, you first have to give it a title and a description and then save it. And then once you've done so, you'll see the other 3 tabs to edit the admin set after its initial creation. And so you could have one admin set that you give your library professional users access to that is direct deposit, has all of the options for visibility, and another one that is catered specifically to, say, your student workers, your faculty contributors, or you could go even beyond that and have, say, 5 or 6 admin sets and have one specifically for your research professors in the science department, and only that group, which you can create through the groups management portion of the dashboard, only that group would have deposit access to that admin set. And so you can assign specific works to them, different from your English department, different from your library professionals, different from your student workers doing basic data entry. So admin sets give you a sort of toolbox to direct workflows that apply to works that are added through that admin set, which again has to be selected at the point when you're adding a work in the relationships box, and which admin sets any given user has access to deposit works through is determined in the either collections management you can do that on an admin set by admin set basis. So I hope that's clear. If we have questions, that'll be great, because there's a lot of possibilities that are opened up with admin sets, but it's kind of a, it takes a little bit of getting used to, especially the fact that admin sets and collections are managed through the same portion of the dashboard, even though they're really technically very different functions of the system.
Hi, this is Jean. I have a quick question. I think because I just was a little bit scrambling to follow. Just wanted to clarify that you can create the admin set before you are dealing with any works in collections, and you can also create it sort of on the fly as, I mean, you have to create it at the point where you're creating a collection. I guess I missed the starting point of creating an admin set. Is it only when in the context of creating a collection, and then you either pick an existing admin set or create one at that point, or you can kind of have them all? Sorry, I missed that.
Correct. So when you have a new Hyku tenant out of the box, it's going to have a default admin set already created, and that will be the work that or the collection that necessarily all works are deposited through. And then from that point, you can create as many additional admin sets as you would like and assign them different rules. And then as you upload a work, it has to be assigned to one of the existing admin sets. You do not have the option from the upload works page to create a new admin set for that work to be added to. It has to be added to an existing one. Those existing ones can be created from the collections portal just as you like.
Okay, thank you.
Nick, can you put a work in a different admin set after it's been uploaded?
No.
That's what I was going to ask. I was sorry. I was curious about that. For instance, let's say you have a student worker admin set that requires mediated deposit, but you have a librarian or archivist admin set that does not. So, I mean, is it functionally just the same if as long as the admin sets ultimately have the same permissions, say public usage? Because I was trying to think about whether it even mattered if the admin sets were different as long as they had, say, the same like eventual public access permissions.
Correct. And so there's two different levels of visibility at work. There's the collection level visibility, and that's can this collection be seen by the public, or is it just sort of a behind the scenes way to group these works together? And then each work deposited into that collection has its own visibility. So public works in a private collection, that work will still be visible, just its inclusion in a private collection won't be visible to a public user, as in not an administrator or somebody who has direct access to that collection. And so default or admin sets are private by default, and all works added to them, the fact that they're in that admin set is not seen by any end user. And if you do create multiple admin sets, and so you have different works in different admin sets, later on, if you go back and edit the settings of that admin set, so if you have an admin set that does not allow users to deposit private works, they can only deposit public works because that's a setting that you have established for that admin set, then later you can go back and change that level of permission and say, oh, now this admin set is open and users can deposit anything. That won't change the privacy settings on works that had been previously deposited through that admin set, but you will be able to edit those privacy settings on those works on a work by work basis. So admin sets don't group works together in the way that other collections do. They just apply a set of rules around deposit or what settings users depositing through that set can select at the time of the deposit. And then but those rules aren't binding on that work long term. That's just at the point when they're adding it, what the rules are at the time. Does that make sense?
Yes, I was just trying to distinguish, I guess, between whether it actually mattered that the admin sets were different, and it doesn't sound like it does. It's just
Yeah.
more of an administrative thing.
Yes, exactly.
Are there any other questions about admin sets before we move on? Okay, thanks. Just one moment.